Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
Primary election, the battles for governor and LA mayor still remain unsettled as election officials chip away at hundreds of thousands of uncounted ballots.
And this morning, President Trump is weighing in, questioning what's taking so long. Eyewitness News reporter Irene Cruz live in the City of Industry, where those ballots are still being processed. Irene.
Yeah, John, Rachel, good morning. Those votes are still coming through, and President Trump has now taken to social media. He's accusing the Democrats of trying to steal the LA mayoral race and the California gubernatorial race, and he also says an investigation into the election is underway. So take a look. Trump wrote on Truth Social last night saying, quote, "There's big cheating by the Democrats in California under investigation by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles. Why the vote counting delay?" Now, that claim about the investigation is unsubstantiated. He's also called out the use of mail-in ballots and says the Democrats are holding up the vote tallying, which both those statements are currently without merit. He's been making claims about California's elections since before Tuesday. Now, Governor Gavin Newsom has responded online saying, quote, "Trump is lying about California again. Time to take the phone away from Grandpa and put him to sleep." The delay in ballot counting is not a surprise here. According to the primary election website, ballots are still being processed and will continue to be counted through what's called the canvass period, which ends July 3rd. The Secretary of State must certify the results on July 10th. Now, back out here live, there are still more than 700,000 ballots to be counted and processed. And a little bit later today, we are expecting a new update from LA County. That's going to be dropping at 4 p.m. on the new numbers of this election.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Patrick here. Joe, something came up for Joe. He should be back in chair tomorrow. So thanks for tuning in. Class is in session today. And we started the show with, big surprise, election questions. Once again in California, specifically, days and days and days of counting ballots. Why does this continuously happen? Are our systems that outdated, that old, that it takes weeks, if not months, to get the vote count correct? When we use machines, apparently, or allegedly, that can do all this. So why is all this happening? Why is it delay after delay? And still, how do they know they have 700,000 ballots left? How do they get that number? How do they know? Simple. If you're counting, how do you know how many more you got to go? Unless you already know what you need. If the algorithm is telling you you need to get to this number in order to basically move Pratt off the second line, which is what I believe is going on in California right now. Bass is already locked in. And now you have the battle for the 2 slot, Pratt and the DSA agent, to go after Bass in November. And they're trying to knock Pratt off that second line. And they know they need to get to this number in order for the algorithm is telling them they need to get to this number. And that's where the flip's going to occur. That's what I believe. And anywhere you look, anywhere you go, specifically in blue cities and blue states, these elections are under lock and key. No one's allowed to look at it. No one's allowed to criticize it. No one's allowed to look under the hood, ever. Which only perpetuates the actual belief that these systems are rigged and fraudulent. Because at the end of the day, if you have nothing to hide to your people in your city, in your state, in your county, then there is no reason we can't open up everything and do full audits everywhere. Oh, it costs too much money. No. Bullshit. You got no problem hitting off billions of dollars to illegals. You got no problem hitting off hundreds of millions of dollars to NGOs. You got no problem hitting off billions of dollars to foreign nations. So what's the problem taking a couple $1 million to make sure our election systems are all correct? Simply put, they don't want to do it because we all know what they know, and what they've known for a long time is that they have hijacked our system. And more Americans are waking up to the fact, and the pressure's mounting on them, but still, they do not care. March on status quo. Newsom, Trump has nothing. Take cell phone away from grandpa, put him to bed. Well, how about you get your election systems figured out correctly? How come in other nations around the world, millions of ballots can be counted within a short period of time overnight? Why? How can that be done? How is that possible? How can Florida, which has a large population, get their ballots counted? But yet in California, it takes weeks or months because the fix needs to happen. And we have a great guest today. We have a lively personality in studio with me. I want to introduce you guys to James McAndrew. Say hi, James. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the party.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for staying with us.
Absolutely.
So what do you think about that clip to start off the show? What's going on in California?
Well, I don't see why anybody's arguing about it. It seems completely above board to me. You think it shouldn't it take that long? Shouldn't it take like 5-6 days extra to just make sure they know how many ballots that they need to win?
Well, why 5 or 6? Why not 2 weeks?
You know, it's constant. It's yet another opportunity for a steal. And this is now however many years into this that everybody's already in. What's the answer? Like, what's the people's answer? Everybody sees it. It went from everybody saw it in the grass. Now everybody's seeing it in real time. Obviously politicizing anybody that's criticizing the thing. But the issue is, it's not just Trump criticizing this. It's everybody criticizing this. And if they're not criticizing it, they're throwing their hands up in the air about it. And I'd be more interested to see honestly, what people really think on the ground. Like, do you really think it takes that many? This is a new phenomenon. This wasn't, we don't have such a population at this point where this is necessary. Like, oh man, 250 million more people came into the country in the last 10 years, so that's why it takes so long. It's, I mean, I don't have any real professional words aside from absolute bullshit. So
nothing's real.
Nothing is real.
Nothing is real. The system's not real. The leaders that are selected by the system aren't real. Unfortunately, their policies do become real that we have to deal with. But we live in a simulation that we basically have no control over.
It's completely, it's pathological. It's pathological.
Yeah.
We could sit there and go like, this is garbage. And they're like, nope. And they'll just do it. And you're stabbing me. Nope. No, I'm not. And when you vote me in, I'm going to make this legal. So it's just, I don't know at what point, what gives, what loss is it going to be a mayoral race plus a gubernatorial race last minute? Because I think that Steve Hilton's is by a couple. Mm-hmm. And by the way, the third in line here is Nithya Raman, who is a city council member. He's part of the, he's a progressive. He's a part of the Democratic Socialist Party as well. So they're going to just inch him up above Pratt, who clearly everybody appreciates. It's no longer really about a Republican thing. That just so happens to be like, it's really the only way in if you want to remotely speak the truth, or so at least grassroots kind of came in doing that, realizing, oh wow, the established Republican Party is going to come in here and kick somebody in the nuts too while we're at it. So who's the enemy?
Us. We're the enemy.
Apparently we're the enemy.
We are the enemy of we are the enemy of our government. We're the enemy of the people in charge. And we get treated accordingly.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, where's the perk of being an American citizen today? Honestly, fair question. What's the perk?
We get to watch it.
Oh, we get the front row seat for free.
We do get the front row. Not for free, though.
Oh, okay.
We have to fund all this.
Sorry, it's part of the inclusive package we get for being an American citizen without taxes.
Yes,
it's part of the inclusive package.
They want to make sure that there is no financial autonomy among us, but want to make sure that we're funding all their stuff. It's not even that they need the money. They just want to make sure we don't have it.
Right. Keep us under their boot, make sure we can't actually do anything for change or break away from the system, and eventually just grind us to a pulp.
And I mean, this Spencer guy, the Pratt gentleman, granted, he's been all over media. It's not like we're breaking anything here. I mean, his house was destroyed.
Yep.
He represents a bunch of people whose houses were destroyed and not one legal answer. No one's allowed in there, which leads into who did that. So Lord knows no one wants to get to the bottom of exactly why everybody's neighborhood went up in flames within 30 minutes.
Yeah, and these people got locked out of their property. So if they can't, a lot of these people can't afford to rebuild. Insurance actually backed out of a lot of these claims.
And we're allowed to.
Yeah. And these people have lost everything, $1 million homes, gone. And Spencer Pratt has been very vocal from jump about all this. I believe this guy is truly grassroots effort, just like, I'm pissed, I'm taking the world on, jump on my shoulders.
Trying to throw him under the bus for living in a camper in a motel or a hotel at the same time.
Well, that's what they have. That's all they have. They try and smear. That's all they can do, because his policies that he's trying to drive out there in California for change make logical sense, and you can't argue against it. So you got to smear the guy. That's the Democratic playbook, well, communist playbook at this point.
The fact that you have officials coming out and going, look, we're going to need a little extra time for this one, especially after 2020, 2022, really, if in the smaller races, 24, and then obviously 26. Where does it break? What's the solution? What do people do?
You just keep bitching and complaining. We have to.
Is that what the taxes are for?
That's what the taxes are for. We bitch and complain.
We punched our card.
And then even when you try and get involved at the local level, you see what happens at the local level, what they did to Joe. Joe running for Colorado GOP chair.
Wasn't that all proxies?
There was,
50%,
but that's what I'm
50% proxies, wasn't it?
That's what I'm talking about, though. Joe was clearly a favorite amongst the people with the straw polls that were coming out, with taking over the GOP party. Right? Like at a Boulder County GOP put one up, I want to say 2.5, 3 weeks ago. Joe got 70 votes. The next closest one, I think, got 10. And then the guy that actually won the nomination to take over the GOP chair had 2 votes in the entire straw poll. So how, when you're trying at the local level, and Joe was going at this hard. He was going at it hard. He wanted that position. He wanted to take over the chair. He has a vision and a mission for the Colorado GOP. And the people that he was talking to, not the ones that really voted a whole lot, but talking to the community members, the ones that didn't really have a lot of say in this, they wanted him. But the people that are in the position of power in the Colorado GOP that selects the GOP chair, ungats to the people of Colorado. The people of Colorado, the Republican people of Colorado wanted Joe to head the party, came last Saturday. What do you call it? A sabotage?
Oh.
What do you call it? What do you call it when you have 50% of the vote being voted in by proxy?
Cute, because it's yet another. I mean, it's such a playbook too. It's always like the 4th one in line. No one actually even thought about, and yeah, it's cute, clever. And the unfortunate part of that are the people within the GOP that actually get duped. So it wasn't even people that were voting for that particular gentleman. I'll be honest, I couldn't remember his name. I couldn't even remember the 4th candidate's name. That's how unknown he was.
I believe his former Douglas County chair, I heard.
I believe it's all Doug Coe that came in on that, and it stinks. It smells to high heaven, and people just towards the end went like, well, I guess I'll throw my vote in that way. I want to go home. People are so duped within the body that it's beyond frustrating to see that. Which is kind of bringing a lot of people kind of to the conclusion, well, okay, well, where do we go from here? We thought grassroots was going to be the Republican side, and here we go. We back Joe for a couple of reasons. Real specific, what people didn't understand is if you wanted bigger donors had walked away. I know they're in my neighborhood. Walked away from giving money to the GOP, which they clearly were undermined. It's a constant op just to get everybody moving otherwise. But anyway, I digress. The point being, him getting in was the only way we were actually going to raise money. It was the only way we got any commitments. And I don't mean anything that Joe was saying. Any conversations we were having, like, well, if we've got someone who's more executive about it, and we have somebody who's in there with a plan, the whole job is to get candidates elected, get money, get the money to the candidates, and get them going, get them on a good foot. That's it. That's the whole thing. Because the second that happened, and Joe didn't win, everybody realized, all right, well, we got 5-6 months of we can't do anything about it. And meanwhile, you have our 4 congressional representatives absolutely throwing the body of the GOP under the bus. Under the bus, throwing Joe under the bus. Boebert goes on. Yeah, also very cute with Kyle Clark, because that's a regular thing.
Yep. Right, the day before. The day before.
The day before.
Yeah.
And so if you don't...
Totally organic.
And sitting there, you know, calling him anti-Semitic and this, that, and the other thing, which seems like a really convenient thing to say these days. And, you know, how, you know, just his use of language, where he's an extraordinarily expressive person and a passionate person. Is that always great? Maybe not. Do you always love it? Maybe you don't. Who gives a shit? The guy's there about to do a job, and he was ready to do the job, and he had a ton of people behind him. And not only that, the GOP would have been solvent on day one.
I'm sure.
So any of the money left over from the lawsuit that everybody likes to confuse would have been done. That would have been done that day. And so instead, what we have is some person from Douglas County that ran that now knows he can't do anything about it. So that's the piece. If that's not a Joe Biden, oh, wait a minute, let me see how many votes we need, and then we'll get them. And then we'll let you know who wins by a fraction, by maybe like 10,000, you know, and it's so disheartening, but at the end of the day, that's what they want. They want everybody in the GOP to go like, screw it, I'm leaving. And a lot of people kind of are, but where does that put us now? Perhaps in the same place where citizens are going to be in California. What are they going to do when they know their guy lost? Except they know that he didn't. Clearly didn't.
Correct.
He's completely popular. He is the most popular. People are coming out of the woodwork for his support. And then all the way where the rubber meets the road, which is local politics, trying to get a GOP chair to do something that knows what to do, that can do it, has the financial connections to actually get a leg up and get us back out of the garbage that this thing is. It's just chasing its own tail. So it's frustrating to say the least. I don't know that I have an answer necessarily, but you know, I think the third party thing, which we were talking about before, is something we'd love to lean into, but what does that really look like? That just means now we've got both sides coming after this. You know, it feels like we just need a populist party. That hasn't happened yet. Not an America First one that didn't really take off. So what do you think?
I think the more this is playing out, there has to be a third party solution. The more it's playing out. Because what I believe has happened is the creatures within the GOP establishment made an organized, calculated decision. We're going to do whatever the F we want to do, regardless of what our constituents want, because what's the alternative for our constituents? They're going to jump ship and join ranks with the communist Marxists? They probably wouldn't do that, or maybe we'll lose some. But I believe they're making a calculus decision that they don't give a shit what the base of the party wants, and they're going to ram through whatever they want because the alternative is such shit. That's why that third party really needs to take form. And you grab 30 to 40% of the Democrats, you grab 30 to 40% of America First MAGA people, you have a substantial chance of having a third party that can take on these foreign interests. Let's be honest, the foreign interests that dominate our political landscape today. To me, that is the only way this happens.
Well,
the only way.
The irony of that is if the whole opt-out situation within the GOP here, so ultimately, without any confusion about opting out and getting out of that primary situation, is the Secretary of State decides who wins the Republican Party's primary. End of story. That's how that works. Trying to get out of that, we have our 4 congressional representatives at the state assembly about a month back that hammered what 98% of that body wanted, which was to get out of it. We can hold our own primaries. They don't want to do that, and the argument is, one of the arguments is because they don't want to take out the independent vote. They don't want to isolate that, or everybody's going after the middle, which is, dare I say, the growing majority of Americans right now that don't really want that. They don't want a hot shit sandwich or a cold shit sandwich. So they just want to, can we just focus on the 3 things that we care about? Just 3 or 4 things. That's it.
A warm shit sandwich.
Well, yeah, no warm shit sandwiches, please. I think, yeah. So it sounds a little... But the issue is that both sides are going for that independent vote. Well, don't you realize what the independent vote really has is all the power. They hold all the cards, because the Democratic side has to be, on the civilian side, I'm not talking about people getting paid to be a communist, or whatever they are on the right. I mean, it's a 2-headed dragon feeding the same stomach, but who really has the power right now is actually every one of us who have been corralled into the center. I ended up Republican only because I thought, well, heck, what if I ran for something someday? I want to at least have this R attached to my name, just so people know that I'm legit. I am with this group, but I'm questioning it daily.
Yeah.
Like, what's this group? What is the group? It's a group fighting over who's smarter, who knows whose agency, and basically completely confused as to what's going on. And we just want normal people with normal concerns to run for a normal office. And I don't want anything else to do with it. I don't want money from everybody else. I just want to fix this thing, do my job, and get out. The whole idea was to do well in the United States, pay back by doing some service in office, and you should be absolutely exhausted by the end of the 2-year or the 4-year term to go like, oh, I'm done. I hand that baton off to someone else who's a patriot, someone that is an American, that wants American people to be able to pursue their happiness. That's it. That's it. We're getting taxed. It doesn't matter what state you're in, let alone a blue state. But as I had said before, like being taxed out of people's financial autonomy, let alone owning anything.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck.
Before we go any further, I'll just guess to remind me, James, can you I didn't do a good job of introducing you to the audience. They want to know who you are. So you are a consultant.
If you will.
If you will, you are a consultant specifically towards the Republican Party?
If kind of bit.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
Surely not the left.
Okay. Former entertainer.
Former entertainer. I did that for quite some time. Didn't make any money doing that.
Okay.
But made some great music doing it. And then kind of fumbled into this world. Ended up very good friends with Joe. Worked with, my wife and I worked with Tina Peters when she was running for her GOP chair position, and that was very early on in any of that, and that is by no means a name drop at all. That's just how we kind of got into that.
Yeah, I understand the circle.
And we learned an awful lot, and but plus we had already gone to January 6th. We didn't go to the Capitol, but we were there, met a lot of people, a lot of allies, and an incredible group of people and friends, and developed unbelievable relationships based, we're great. Very funny, very nice people. But we're not transactional. We don't need anything from anybody. And through that, the interest was, well, this is wrong, and this is wrong, and that's that person, and that's that person, and who's that? And just through that, we just ended up in a position where, we were able to make introductions and just kind of move the needle and learn a lot, an awful lot, because there's a lot of effort that goes to naught because you don't realize who you're actually dealing with in the first place. So that's kind of, as it pertains to this type of show, what business I have being on it. As we have a good group of, we have a good network statewide and nationally, so I ended up getting more involved in this. I started my record label for that band in 2020, and then COVID happened. So, and then had to deal with that, which terrible time to start any business was about then. And then I competed in that market, if that's such a thing. But the issue there was, what drove me out of that was who I was involved with were mostly people that had to throw up their BLM flags, all of that shit. And I think the final bit was when my manager had posted something that said, the most dangerous thing to the country right now are white armed Christians. And I am that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, you know that I'm that, what you just said. And she was like, well, you just have to understand that this is just the business that we're in. I'm like, apparently so. So I kind of walked. I was done. So now I sing to my dogs.
There you go.
Yeah, better audience. Pretty good audience.
So there you go, guys.
They never asked me to play Freebird.
Okay.
Nothing.
Maybe I'll ask you to sing something before we close out today.
Completely a cappella. Let's go.
Of course.
So just at the end of the day, I'm an American, and I'm proud to be an American, and I want to see people pursue their happiness. I want to see people have money.
I get that. The sad part of this now is what this country's morphed into is that people get money, and so there's a decent amount of people that get money and happiness from tearing down this country now. And that there's been a cultural shift in that.
Well, it's pretty easy to say yes, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
If you have no morals, no compass whatsoever.
Yeah.
Can't see the forest through the trees, because they'll be the first ones to go. Just saying. They'll be the first ones gone.
And that's why nothing is real. And I want to follow up because we were talking about what's going on in LA. Let's put this post up about some of the vote totals that were captured yesterday. So if you take a look, 39% of the vote in, Karen Bass had 117,579 votes. Spencer Pratt had 86,323 votes. At 42.4% of the vote in, Karen Bass had 130,429 votes. Spencer Pratt still had 86,323 votes. So, how does that happen? How does she get 23,000 votes in a count and Pratt does not get one? How is that statistically possible?
Doesn't that sound super similar too? That sounds
right. Running it back a little bit.
Familiar, doesn't it?
Running it back a little bit.
Statistically, that seems a little tough to believe. And also, I believe you need 2 or 3 extra days in order to get those votes.
You got to find them. You got to bring them in. You got to count them. Of course, they're repeating the playbook without any fear of consequence. Trump is saying the DOJ is watching. They're just laughing. They're just laughing, and they're going to keep this going on. And the fact that it's so fraudulent, Joe had a comment about this post. So let's put up Joe's post. We're going to read through Joe's post. And then we're going to see where Spencer Pratt actually is falling in the betting markets. So when Joe reposted this on his X account last night or yesterday, and he says, the elections are fraudulent, rigged, and not real. No one in LA has an appetite for Karen Bass, except, of course, Smartmatic. The fact that we debate the ridiculous and allow these criminals to continue to steal our sovereignty and terrorize our country with fake representation that leads to the destruction of our nation should tell you all you need to know. They are destroying our nation, and we are watching it happen and talking our way out of it. Pathetic.
If that's not pushing your citizens out of a state, I don't know what is. Is that the move?
I feel anyone that could afford to leave LA or California has, and they settled here. And look what happened here.
Or Texas.
Or Texas. And
Or
Texas,
Nashville.
Texas is in a battle right now. Give Texas another 4 to 5 years, see what that's going to happen down there. You got Nashville that is, I've seen some clips out of Nashville. I can't believe that's Nashville, Tennessee. I can't believe that's going on.
Yeah, it's kind of, it got LA-ified.
It's remarkable. And it all goes back to the indoctrination of the kids through the school systems that get them primed to go to college to get shocked up a little more. And then they go out into the world and they move into these new age cities, Denver, Colorado, Austin, Texas, Nashville, and they create these little liberal enclaves where they all just migrate with their same thought process and voting habits and bring this ideology to these cities and states that infest and rot and take out whatever remnants of American society exist.
And it's sad because, those are the same people that are sitting there, bitching and moaning about never being able to own anything, so why even try? I think it's not so much that, I think what they have is a do-nothing, group of people going out there and enjoying the perks of not pissing anyone off within their friend group. Well, I don't want to say anything too hoo-hoo. But these people are suffering. I mean, we're all suffering from the exact same thing, whether you're over here or you're over here, and it's not a real thing. None of those things, that's not real. They pretend to be over here. Meanwhile, look how they slice us up. Anti-Semitism, and then saying anything about anything happening in the Gaza Strip. Well, that was like this, And now it's over here, so you can see how they're just slicing us up and slicing us up and slicing us up. And it seems like a subsect of people that would have otherwise identified with the liberal left aren't really identifying with anyone. They're just like, I guess it'll probably be better in a minute eventually, right? And it seems like there isn't really any action. I mean, those are the people that should be going to the center. I mean, going back to this third party, everybody, we were all corralled here. Mm-hmm. We were all corralled here. At first, we were talking about Overton's window, and like that, I mean, both sides really went off the rails. MAGA Republicans were the real deal, or are the real deal, because they want their country back. They don't want to pay taxes through the roof. They don't want children trafficked through the entire country. They would like to have ownership of, or they would like to be able to fully parent their children and not have to worry about them having some second name in a federally funded school system that doesn't teach them anything except how to be something you're not and how to protest against something that you theoretically don't like. I mean, elementary schools here, I mean, you could speak to that. Elementary schools are out having days off of school to protest anything.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
Since 2020. Ever since George Floyd, equity, COVID, that whole concoction, and the schools reopened again, it was a full-on blitz across the board with equity, full-fledged, nonstop, coming back into the schools. That's when it really started. I remember when I was in school, growing up, there was one political thing that we did that I can remember from kindergarten to graduating high school. And that one thing we did political was tying the yellow ribbon on our black picket fence around our school building when the Gulf War started.
Yeah, 1991. I just saw 1991.
That was the only.
We had trading cards.
That was the only political thing as a student I remember being involved in through the school. No protests, no marches, no
Support the truth.
No, that's what it was. No days of silence, no trans days of visibility, none of that. The only thing I remember, I think it was first or second grade, we went out front, PS 38 in Rosedale, Queens. We had a black fence in front of the building, and I remember every student got a yellow ribbon, and we tied it around. And that was a unifying moment for America. That was the political. It wasn't for this subgroup or this subdivision or this group or this race or this sex or this idea. The political was a moment for our troops, and that was something impactful for me that I remember it still. I had to be 7, 8 years old. But at that moment, that also instilled pride into someone young. Thinking about people that are overseas fighting for you,
An
for
American
your country.
flag.
Yeah.
So even if it was, I mean, it was Bush Sr. heading that in. So even if all of the reasons for going over there were nefarious in one way or the other, the sentiment, how they were selling it, was American. That's in one lifetime. Now how they're selling everything is you gotta hate it. You gotta hate America.
Yeah.
And that is such a big, what does that mean?
We have American citizens cheering soldiers being killed. We have foreigners that came to this country illegally under Biden cheering and rallying when soldiers are killed.
And allowed to stay.
And allowed to stay. And allowed to say you can't criticize them because they have a right to free speech in your country.
Now, what would happen if we went over there into their country and did the same thing?
You'll be strung up within 24 hours.
So
they infiltrate our country, they use our laws against us, they use our customs against us, and then when we try and fight back, we get labeled and beat down by our own court system.
seems like a design.
Nothing is real.
Nothing is
Nothing
real.
is real. I'll keep coming back to that. And we'll keep with the nothing is real part. Let's drop the poly market update for Spencer Pratt, and we can see where he's actually in the betting markets. Just in, this is from yesterday, Spencer Pratt drops to third in LA mayoral odds, trailing Mayor Boss and Democratic Socialist Nathanya Raman.
Ah, yes.
Your girl. Your girl. Yep, she's the DSA agent. She is Mamdani squared. She is a Saussure disciple, the whole 9 yards. They are looking to prop her up as the second and then have a DSA agent against a Democratic swamp agent for the AL mayoral race. All while the regular conservatives that pay taxes in LA are going to get trampled, regardless who wins this race. But yeah, this guy has momentum. He has a great social media game. He's been on media. He knows what he's saying. He has a vision what he wants to do in LA. And you're telling me the people in LA don't want this guy to take on the bull? Nothing's real.
Nothing's real. Nothing's real. I would, it's, so what do we do for real people? What are real people thinking? What are real people saying? What are real people's plans? What's the contingency here?
What I think is, I'm a real person, you're a real person. I think about my family. I figure out, I try and game plan what we need to do. That unfortunately is contingent on my legal outcomes. Like, I do not want to send my kid to public school. I shouldn't have to send my kid to the school district I'm suing for their treatment of me. There's no way they can treat my kid fairly. No way, no how. So what individual people need to do is you need to educate your family. You need to build a strong community of family and friend networks that you can rely on. And honestly, you got to fight every chance you can fight and take someone on. And I don't mean beat the shit out of someone in the street, but call them out online, call them out in a conversation. If you have to confront evil at every turn, you can't let people say something anymore and walk away and get away with it. You have to confront them with everything that they say. Last Saturday, I went up to a cidery up in Lafayette. A college friend was in town. Her and her husband and her 2 kids were in town. My wife and my kid, we went up there. I didn't know where she was politically, to be honest. I didn't know where she was. I knew her father was a really successful business guy in New York. So I was kind of thinking, all right, maybe Republican leaning. I know the dad was. I never knew where she was. And it came out that she is more left than I thought she was. And then we were having these conversations, and at the end of it, my wife's listening. My wife turns to her and says, "You're a closet conservative and you just don't know it yet." That's what I believe the majority of Americans are.
Most people are.
They are.
People do not like the word. So we're both from the East Coast, from Boston here.
New York here. You guys can hear the dialect difference, please.
2 guys that won't pronounce any A's whatsoever. I didn't meet a Republican until I was like 12. And it was news to the family. It was a friend of my sister's who came in. And that was it. But we were Kennedy Democrats. We were blue collar Dems, right? Which is what now?
A Republican.
Yeah. So, and then the whole idea, like, well, I don't want to be called a Republican, especially going through high school, because we were given the whole thing, like, oh, those people are like fat cigar smoking, like oil drilling pricks out there. Couldn't be further from the truth as you grow up. But that's the bit. You're young, you're liberal, and then at one point you go,
You grow up and make some money.
whoa. Yeah, you have to pay taxes.
You grow up and make some money.
And you realize that this is, or you watch the money go out the window to the most ridiculous things you've ever seen.
That's another, yep.
And let alone, and of course, I was always a conspiracy theorist. Like 9/11 wasn't a real thing to me back then, but that was a left thing. Being conspiratorial, and that was the left side of it because Bush was in, right? But as soon as he wasn't anymore, then that wasn't a left thing anymore. Then it was all the way, moved to 2020, and then everything was conspiratorial on the right. And people don't understand what conservative means. It just means you're conserving the Bill of Rights. It's conserving your Constitution. You're conserving that. That's all it means. That's it. And the terminology is what's been attacked in the United States. They took civics out, right? What did they replace it with? But social studies. On and on and on.
Hey, easy there. I was a social studies teacher.
Well, I'm just saying. Am I right?
No, you are. And the fact is, in the school systems, you don't really see. What I feel is they teach what being a citizen is too late in the school system.
Pledge allegiance when I was...
Oh, that's out. You can't make kids do that anymore. It's optional.
I mean, that was the thing you did in elementary school.
Optional, brother. Optional. I couldn't stop kids from walking in the hallways, or I couldn't have kids. I wasn't allowed as a dean to prevent movement during the school-wide Pledge of Allegiance. So basically, kids could do or say or behave any way they want. And it was honestly considered oppressive if I did by DEI standards.
Of course.
Because that flag doesn't represent greatness. That flag represents an oppressive regime. And if our kids don't want to support that, they don't need to.
But they can look at this flag right over here. This one with all these squiggly bits and...
Oh, the multicolored ones?
6 colors and all of this Baal flag that no one really even understands. The one with the light pink and the light blue.
Yep.
Yeah, that one.
That can be in every classroom,
in a school. So, but the thing is like, this is within, I mean, we're not old men. This happened within our lifetime.
Yeah, it has.
Like, I've got 1 foot over here, like, look, we wanted to bitch and moan when we were in high school and college. You moved on.
I wouldn't even say our lifetime. I say this should happen in 20 years.
Yeah.
I graduated college 20 years ago.
Yeah.
This month. Graduated 20 years ago, 2006. Graduated Queens College. What a different world we're in within 20 years, and it's not better. It's not better. It's worse. We are dumber as a society. We are more divided as a society. We are more distracted, and we don't have a common thread whatsoever anymore of what makes any of us American. There is no common thread anymore.
But there is.
There is, but it's not preached or practiced, and that's when I come back to they took teaching citizenry out of the schools to the younger kids. They don't teach like U.S. civics responsibility, just your responsibility of being a good person or a good citizen in this country. That's not taught to the high school level. At the high school level already, those kids are washed. I shouldn't say washed. Their brain has already been developed through the indoctrination. You got what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you're not teaching first, second graders the Pledge of Allegiance. What does it mean to be an informed person? What does it mean to love this country? And you don't have to go with these grandiose ideas, right? But what makes this country great when you're 6 or 7? Or at least what it used to. You know what used to make this country great when you were 6 or 7? You were able to go outside in your community and you felt safe. You were able to stay out until the lights came on to come home.
And you damn better have.
Like that's what's, and I don't know how I was able to do that in the 90s, but in 2026, a decent amount of people in America don't feel that way, where they don't feel it's safe to let their kid go out, play in their communities until nightfall.
At all.
At all.
I wouldn't.
I hear you. I hear you. Now, how does this get undone? Does it ever get undone, or do we just have to accept the reality that this is the new norm? How do you ever go back to a society where our kids can stay out and play with their friends in the neighborhood at night, and you don't have to be scared, you don't have to be sitting on the front porch watching or being concerned? When can we go back to that, if we can go back to that?
I mean, it has to start locally. I mean, that has to start with the neighborhood, with people talking and having people actually have a relationship. We also had a neighborhood where all the moms knew where all the kids were.
Yes.
Like it was Timmy McDonough's, Maria Giovannucci up there.
The families would play telephone. I saw your kid doing this.
Yeah.
And then the other mom will smack you for your mom.
And then smack that kid for their mom. Yeah. And that was really the difference, is that people, I mean, there was some fear. There was fear of God, but there was really fear of your mom.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's completely gone. I think it's easy to think that it's gone in individual cases, is because it's such a large issue, but we're not a small group of people within the United States that just think this or just started thinking this. There's been a whole bunch of people doing that. And I think the communication, the first thing that they do is what we talked about it before, and everybody knows it, is that they divide you. And all of a sudden by 2020, say really 2016, politics is your identity. Politics has nothing to do with being a citizen. Politics has everything to do with politicians trying to get voted in by each other, really. And what kind of thing can we bring up that's going to piss this group off and not this group, but we'll get them, like the whole MAGA thing. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, you're a MAGA? Forget everything that you said. Everything that comes out of your mouth if you voted for Trump is now...
You're racist.
Racist. Well, everything is discounted. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's coming from people I've known my whole life, my family. At the second they, well, he voted for... So everything he has to say is discounted. That's what happened. But put it on this side. Well, you voted for Joe Biden. Everything that you have to say is discounted. Okay? Is it? Or were they just not paying attention? And then they did this thing and went, I did. I'm not proud of the fact that I did, and I came around. I didn't want to out loud say that I voted for Trump, but clearly they did. Mm-hmm. Because what was the option? And it's the second we can tell the powers that be that have their agendas, NGOs, I mean, they're all over the place. They're becoming slicker and easier to read lines, who's who at this point. But then who cares about that shit? What people should really understand is that just be kind. Go at it with a little bit more curiosity than you do judgment. And you might find something out. And the more people talk, the less good it is for them. It is not good for the control group, the controllers of the United States, to have people loving, respecting, and caring about each other. We don't have to agree. We never did before. We almost never did. Mm-hmm. We never did. We didn't have to, but what we did agree with, I mean, I'm talking about the little finicky little things like, oh, well, seatbelt should be for everybody, like whatever your things are. So forget all of that and just have conversations. Protect each other's children. Go to church. Go to church. Go to God. If you think that you're going to death scroll your way into understanding what's going on and not realizing how big this thing is, I keep getting caught back here. Hold on, I'll be right with you. Communication has to happen, and just respect has to happen with people. That's how you fix it. How do you fix politics? It's local, as we just saw, and they're very, 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 very involved in that. But that's where the rubber meets the road. That's your neighborhood going like, I don't want to spend $50,000 on this bullshit across the street. I don't want to do that. But because people were so exhausted, and by design, exhausted at the after COVID and then right into the whole Trump Biden shit. People just didn't even, everybody just wanted, I just want calm, I just don't want to talk about it, and let's just not talk about it. And instead, what we should have talked about, we should be talking about, is the common thread that we do have. We've all suffered the same trauma, whether you got jabbed or you didn't get jabbed, you feel bad about it, or you knew you shouldn't have, or whatever your case, or you're forced to because of your work. That was one piece. That was everybody in the world that was subjected to that. And no one wants to talk about that, including the people that made it so. That ushered in, more of the political stuff, and none of that stuff should have aligned there. I don't care if you hate somebody. You think every boss on the planet is just an awesome dude? I don't care that you think someone's just a bad person or just mean. But when you start throwing out Nazis, when you start throwing out racist, which completely diminishes what those words even mean. And then you realize it was the same culprits that are doing that were doing it then from the 60s on, and they're doing it now, just using verbiage against each other. And because our egos are so big, and we have to know everything, and we've got to be smarter than other people, let alone the people we voted differently than, right? That is the impasse. But the fact of the matter is no one knows what's going on whatsoever. Even people that know what's going on don't know what's going on because no one knows who's talking to who anymore. Because everybody's had to go to their plan B. And I mean from whatever your agency is from the top all the way down here. And now we just don't want to talk about it. Instead of we don't have to talk about politics. We could just say, how are you doing? What's bothering you about this? And that's everybody in the middle. It's everybody in the middle.
There's a lot there. I agree with a lot that you said. The thing that I come back to is that everything that is being done, everything that happens in government winds up being thrown in your face now. You feel everything that they do.
Everything.
So it makes it hard to walk around trying to build capacities with people that are aligning with values and views that are way different than yours, and you know what the end road is eventually if they get what they want, which I don't want for my kid when I'm gone. So to me, unfortunately, they're my enemy. Indirectly, they're my enemy. Because if you're supporting an ideology that I know, I have seen, I know what it's going to do, if you're supporting that, you're targeting my kid. Just like you say I'm anti-trans or whatnot because I speak out of keeping boys and girls separate in sports, they see me as attacking their kid, right? So there is no way we ever come back to a middle ground here.
Well, I think that I can't, and I won't disagree. The only thing I might point out is, though, that's a majority of who you are facing. That's not the majority. I don't believe it. So I agree with you. Those people are, first of all, the parents that are subjecting their children to that are absolutely out of their mind and horrific. So if they're doubling down, not only doing that and helping the cause, and that's the destruction of this country, they are also my enemy. That isn't something that I disagree with. I think what I'm maybe I didn't say it very well because I just exploded and talked about 17 things at the same time, but I think it's the people that I think it's really independents and a lot of Republicans and a lot of what used to be Democrats coming in going, I don't want anything to do with this shit. A Democrat on this side might not be popular if he goes like, actually, I don't want my son to be a woman.
Yeah.
And have that conversation at 5 years old. And no, I don't want the books. I know they know the books that are in.
And let's be honest here.
But there's got to be a huge majority of people that are sitting here, not siding one way or the other, that are like, yeah, absolutely.
But then why does it keep happening?
Why does it keep happening? Who's spending the money to drive it that way or to make it seem like there's a large group of people supporting this. Because I can tell you right now, the majority of those people that are supporting that don't have children.
There you
Don't
go.
have children.
There you go.
They don't have children. So it's easy for them to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They have fur babies.
They do.
Fur babies.
They do. And that's a whole other thing where you could show up to school dressed a certain way. I got to respect if you want to be called the them.
That's yeah.
That's a whole other ball game. And that's the thing, like kids won't behave that way unless it's introduced to them. That's why this trans thing is all a facade. Like I have a 4-year-old kid. He has no idea what trans is. I have friends that have 6, 7, 8-year-old kids. They don't know what it is. The only time that shit comes up is if it's injected into them either through TV shows or at the school level. And there's no reason for any of that stuff to be in the school level. Other it is to confuse kids because it's a war on kids. It's a war on our traditional society, right? And yet you have school board members that are supposedly members of the community all throughout this country, especially in the Cherry Creek area, that love doing this. Even though the majority of the parents in the Cherry Creek area don't support it.
Staring at them in the face.
But somehow they still push this down in the Cherry Creek school system.
Because it's funded.
Yes.
Because it's funded. So how do you defeat that?
Well, you need to get the school board members out. But the way the school board, do you know how the elections happen in the Cherry Creek area for school board?
Please.
I didn't even know this. But, my lawyer told me about this. So we're broken down into, I believe, 5 different zones, A, B, C, D, E. And you would think if you lived in Section A, you would vote for Section A. You got me? You live in Section A, you get to vote for all the sections. So if you have a pocket of, let's say, 1,000 people that you could reach out to and be like, hey, we need these candidates marked off in the school ballot. And I know you don't live out in E, where I live. I know you don't live in E, but you have a right to vote in E and elect a member for that E community. So members within your own area in Cherry Creek, you don't get to elect your specific rep. So people by Overland get to elect the board member from Cherry Creek Trail. Got me?
Gotcha.
That's how it works in Cherry Creek. That's why it's never going to change. And it was purposely written that way by the school district recently. They changed the rules on how the voting would take place.
What's the legal recourse?
There is no, because it's legally been changed. They're able to do it. So now what you need to do is you need to infiltrate the school board. So we need to get...
Which seems more difficult.
It is.
Imagine that.
But we need to get pro-America people on the Cherry Creek School Board in order to flip all this. Because you need to get the board out, and then you need to clean the district office out. You need to get rid of the DEI office, the equity office. It's about $10 to $12 million budget. You need to get the head of legal counsel out, Sonia McKenzie, who is responsible for these federal lawsuits that Cherry Creek is facing, costing them millions of dollars in lawyer and retainer fees and hearings. Right, Sonia? How much is it costing you for the 2 federal civil rights cases, mine and a student's now that you got hit with? How, as a legal counsel, you're allowing this to happen in your school district? Because you promote this ideology and you don't care about the millions of dollars that it's costing Cherry Creek taxpayer because you're lining your pockets for 6 figures and you're going to walk away with your retirement and your pension. You're not going to give a crap because that's the type of person you are at the end of it. I know what type of person you are. I caught you. Remember that. I caught you, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. So you could go play your games and try and dig up all the shit you want on me, but I caught you legally, and you're going to pay for it. And that whole district needs to come down because that district is a corrupt cartel from top to bottom. Chris Smith, and here's the thing. They just had a new election. You had new board members put in November. You had 2 new board members. Okay? 5 board members. You have 2 new ones. So now, in reality, when I slapped them with a lawsuit a couple of years ago, you only have 3 board members left from when I slapped them with a lawsuit. The superintendent's gone. A couple board members are gone. Assistant superintendent's gone. So who is actually driving the truck at the Cherry Creek School District that is still doubling down that we have a right to discriminate against this teacher for saying he's a proud American? They actually admitted to it in the 10th Circuit hearing. They actually admitted to it. And discriminating against kids based on race. So who's the driving force behind all this? Sonia McKenzie, head of legal at Cherry Creek School District. Because she is a lawyer. She knows what's right or wrong. She knows legally what's right or wrong. She knows the 10th Circuit passed down rulings that you can't suspend kids for out-of-school behavior. But she still signs off on it because the whole point was to punish kids in the name of equity.
Of course.
So yeah, Sonia McKenzie, I'm pretty sure you watch and get clips of me. Keep it coming. I got more coming for you. Don't you worry. This needs to be discussed because you are the head of the snake at Cherry Creek School District, packing in 6 figures, pillaging from the taxpayer here in Cherry Creek, pillaging from us, lining your pockets. Disgraceful. And I'm not done with you yet. Sorry, that's how.
I felt it here. I felt it.
Oh, so you're a Cherry Creek member, Cherry Creek School District? Your taxes go to them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
we're, well, Cherry Hills.
Yeah, that's probably Cherry Creek.
Yeah, Creek School District, yeah. Yeah, we live close to the elementary school, as a matter of fact. So we don't have any children in those schools, but we are...
Paying taxes to them.
We sure are. Very privy to the goings-on and had our own ins and outs with them. But they want the children.
I know.
And if they can't have all of them, they'll have the ones that people can't afford to put them in other schools aside from public schools. I'm a product of public school system. Not to say that that's great, but I survived it. So,
but nothing. It just seems so absurd. Everything that's going on in society, everything logical doesn't make sense.
Captured would be the word.
Yeah, we live in a simulation. Nothing is real.
Blue states, in particular, are captured 100% on every level.
And speaking of blue states, I'm going to play a clip for you out of New Jersey. Take a look what just happened in New Jersey the other day.
Yeah.
Let's play cut 5, Damon.
We win. When we organize, we win. Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Takbir. Allahu Akbar.
So there you go. That is a victory celebration for Adam Hamaway, who is directly tied to the blind sheik who organized the bombing of the World Trade Center in 1993. This guy's disciple just won the Democratic primary to run for a seat in Congress come November. And did you see that celebration? Did you hear what they chanted to open that clip with?
They seem like people all originally from New Jersey, if I've ever seen it, right?
I agree. I agree.
They all from New Jersey?
They seem that way, yes.
Yeah.
They seem that way, yes.
I get buddies from New Jersey. I don't know that they're playing that kind of music, but is it Allah Akbar?
Allah Akbar, yes. And with that, we know that usually follows killings when that's celebrated.
I have so little... I like to be jovial. I like to throw dumb jokes at it, but it is disgusting what's happening. And I will, don't mince my words. I mean, it's so obviously not who people, normal citizens from New Jersey, and don't get me wrong, I'm not just talking about white people. I'm talking about any people that grew up in New Jersey who weren't in that one tiny room, which were the only people that were interested in that. No one outside of that room, except from people overseas, are interested in that. And the fact that that stuff is allowed, there's no American flag in there.
Nope.
Nothing. Has nothing to do with this country. Has nothing to do with this country. As a matter of fact, if you think it does, you're already in a different country, and you can get out too, as a matter of fact. It doesn't make any sense. No one's supporting that. And if white liberal girls with like blue hair, they're like, I don't even understand what I'm even saying. Like, they won't even listen to you, by the way.
Yeah.
You're less than a dog. I hope you know anybody that's, especially with Sharia law, that they're happy to usher in, and they're hoping obviously that this connects with Mamdani and that.
Well, he was connected with Linda Sarsour. Linda Sarsour got Mamdani elected. She ran this guy's campaign too, and she openly talks about her hatred towards America, the need for Muslims not to assimilate. So yeah, there's only one reason why they're taking over these offices, and it's not to make America better. It's to unleash pain on the American people.
100%.
This is being coordinated, and they're taking spots all over the place, and nothing's being done about it. Not a damn thing. And don't tell me nothing can't be done.
You have Texas, you have Dearborn, Michigan, which is a big epicenter there.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the Muslim Brotherhood that started up here in Greeley, I believe, right?
Yes.
Didn't it? So it's all over here. When is this, at what point is anybody going to do anything about that? Like, that's not all right. None of it.
No, it's not.
None of it is okay. So
you have abandoned churches being bought out, turned into...
Oh, you should see the financial games being played there.
Into mosques.
Oh, I got some, the fire damage, their insurance damage, and then turn around going, oh, and then all of a sudden it's 30 cents on the dollar. Oh, but you can have it. They're just giving the churches away. And meanwhile, they're kicking priests out of the diocese. They're kicking priests out for telling the truth all over the country, which is not covered at all, taking their churches away. So they're taking American churches out of the hands of people that go to active church and handing them to Muslims.
To be converted to community centers.
Same goes with schools.
And mosques.
Why? And why? Why? Aside from what you just answered. There's only one reason why that's happening. It's not like they're involved in local communities. Like, hey, everybody has a right to practice. You're right. You're right. They do. You don't have a right to take a country over. More so, the politicians, the leadership throughout the country, do not have a right to allow that at all. At all. It's huge funded. It's so funded. If you wanted to see the only reason why we're not Europe right now is because we're armed. That's it. That's the only reason why we don't have at least more known rape gangs, because that's all hidden. Europe is so far gone they don't even hide it. So how long is it until they have their children going absolutely and death to America while they're in America, while our politicians just parcel the country out to whomever, whether it's farmland to China, whether it's our school system to Muslim groups. I mean, shoot, the Vatican is putting off most of their fundage to Muslim groups versus, I don't know, any of the Christians that are being murdered.
Did not know that.
Murdered.
Well, I knew that. I didn't know about the funding part of it.
Oh, absolutely. They're funneling most of their money to Muslim groups. The end. No money to Nigeria. No. No money to Syria. No money to Lebanon. where they're persecuted Christians. And I mean, when I say persecuted, think of the worst things to do to another human being, and that's what's being done. And no one's saying anything about it. So it's not just, I'm not talking America. I'm not talking, hey, I want my barbecue and my my gun racks and my big truck. Not that there's anything wrong with any one of those things. It's not what I'm talking about. It's the basic ethos of being an American and understanding that if you work hard, you can get this. Well, they've already destroyed that. They've done that through the Federal Reserve. They've done that through taxation, and not just your income taxes, everything that you pay. Your gas is almost 98% tax. I'll repeat that. Your gas is almost 98% tax, but everybody agrees with it. Do you know who pays 16 cents a gallon for gas? One of the wealthiest groups, one of the wealthiest places in the world is Dubai. Do you think they have more oil than we do?
No.
I don't mean to digress, but point being, so not only are they slamming everything with cost, they're giving what we can't afford to Muslim groups, not to raise their families and have the American way of life and start companies and do this and learn. As a matter of fact, and the immigration system is a mess, because now you have people that have been waiting to do this for ever the right way, watching people not only go through that process, but then running for government. Running for government. They're not even fully immigrated.
And winning.
Winning. Are they though? Fake.
They get to sit in those seats. They get their paycheck.
Hence, that's real.
That part is real. But are they really being selected by the people? No. But they get the perks of the job. They get the money, they get the benefits, they get the retirement, they get the platform, they get it all.
The problem is always going to be the people that see it first are always going to be called racist. And they're going to be right at the end of what happens if this is allowed to continue. And there will be no American way of life. And it's not hyperbole to say this. Texas is well on its way. Canada is completely overtaken.
Gone. Mm-hmm.
And you've got Michigan, that's pretty much gone. Ohio seems to be next. California has its own bit. New York, see you later. Massachusetts, see you later.
They're all Northeast, the whole Northeast corridor.
At what point do you think, and they've got everybody appeased enough to go like, wow, it's just the way it is, and that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah.
Everybody is just careless about this thing. It's like, oh, it'll work out. What are you going to do when it doesn't? What are you going to do, like, who's to say that they can't go into certain communities and just claim eminent domain like they are in New York? They're setting precedent, right?
Not yet.
With certain buildings, but they want to.
They want to, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Oh, we've decided that person just doesn't manage
Absentee
that.
landlord, boom, my property now.
What's an absentee landlord? Hold on, let me get my Black's Law Dictionary.
Yep.
Oh, it's just a person that owns a building. Oh. Like, you constantly changing the legal terminology to just push this garbage through, and there aren't enough people going, hey, wait a minute. There's just not. There isn't a voice of, hey, wait a minute. There's a small group still of people that aren't afraid to say, hey, this is a problem, and I don't give a shit. You know? It is what it is. I'm seeing what I'm seeing. This isn't the country that I grew up with. As a matter of fact, that you said, this isn't the country I was living in 20 years ago.
No.
And I understood, like, the Islamophobia garbage after 9/11. That's only because we knew that was facilitated by the American government. That wasn't a bunch of people over there that wanted to do that. There's a bunch of people over there willing to do it, willing to get paid to do it, sure. But that wasn't infiltrated by them. So what you have now, it seems to be, is a whole group which has been gunning to take this happened over 1,000 years ago, and Europe was completely enslaved. It wasn't until like 900 AD before the Muslims were actually finally kicked out of Europe.
732, the advancement was stopped in France. It was stopped in France, and then eventually 900s, 1400s even in Spain, the Reconquista, to kick them all out.
Kick them all out. Mm-hmm. And Spain then was completely Catholic. Not so much anymore.
No. And then if you look at Northern Africa is all Islamic.
Well, they moved everybody. They just moved.
The original people there were forced to convert or die. Like, that's what Islam does to you.
So what they'll do here is move them all in. There'll be too many to do anything about it, and anybody protesting against anybody saying, like, look, no one has a problem with people immigrating to the country and being an American. The end.
Yeah, I believe we all agree
But
that...
when are you going to stand up and say, like, and it'll be too late, and anybody else protesting against people, say, like us, are going to call us racist.
Of course.
Because that's pretty much all you got.
That's the go-to.
And no one is. No one's racist. No one's against the Muslim religion. Everyone's against Sharia law.
I think they're pushing people that way. I believe they're purposely pushing people to become racists.
Oh yeah, well yeah, get them to become what we say that they are.
I think they are. I think that's part of the plan, is to make people racists.
I just think the mix.
Let's think about it. Let's think about it real quick. Did you ever give a shit about indoor plumbing, electricity, any technological advancement? Who made it? Did you ever care really who was responsible for advancements of society? Did you ever really care about it?
Not one no.
Okay. That's all I care about now. You know why? Because I'm tired of hearing that white people are racist and pieces of shit. What has the white race done for the civilization on this planet is incalculable. Medical advancements, scientific advancements, technological advancements, indoor plumbing. Do you like taking a shit inside when it's cold?
Only when it's cold.
Do you like taking a warm shower? Indoor plumbing, running water to your house. Are you a fan of that?
Yes.
Okay. All white civilization, Greek, Roman, European, that built the pillars of our civilization that everyone enjoys the perks of today. I'm tired of hearing that white people are systemically racist and oppressive.
I mean,
we are the most accepting group of people out of any group of people on this planet.
I'll further that in a lot of those advancements, and I would argue probably a great majority of those were Christian, were fortified Christian more than they were any other color. On top of that, it just so happened to be Western civilization that moved the ball.
And that came through academics and learning, something that was valued amongst...
And then America comes along and goes, look, anybody that wants a part of this party, let's do this thing.
Yeah.
Let's advance civilization, but who is stifling that and who's controlling and who wants us pinned against that? Who wants us pinned against each other?
The ones above us.
Well above us.
The elitists.
So that's what they want. They want us saying white, black, Muslim, white, black, Muslim, this, that, the other thing.
And then when you have immigration policies that allow anybody and everybody to come into your country.
And you give it to them with no stipulations.
Yeah. And also not actually verifying, why are you coming here? Why are you coming here? Are you coming here for a better opportunity? Are you coming here just to suck the tit? Are you coming here? What are you coming here for?
They're not going to ask that question because they're giving them money.
I know that. I have behind my house, I got a neighbor. My kid loves playing with their kids. He used to work down at the border. He is now an air marshal. He was telling my wife stories that I also told my wife about, but she wouldn't believe me when I told her these. It took this gentleman telling her that illegals were getting $3,000 in cash envelopes as they were coming over, every one of them. Boom, boom, boom.
Do what you like. Do
cell
what you
phones
like.
as you come over, hitting them off with cell phones as they came in. So yeah, these people were not coming here to be part of the American dream. They're coming here to take from the American dream and then eventually transform this country into the radical shithole that they came from, which I don't understand why they want to do that.
Because they'll be easier to control than we will be.
But why do you want to go from a shithole country to a nice country than to turn that nice country into the shithole country you left? I don't understand that.
I don't know that I can't speak to the psychology of it, but I don't know that it's necessarily presented that way. I think they're saying, hey, you deserve a piece of this, so go take it.
Yeah, but what are you doing to benefit that society you're moving to?
They don't care.
Therefore, you're going to turn this society into that shithole society you left.
They'll take their 7 wives, have 7 times the amount of children, and next thing you know, they're completely outnumbered. White Christians in general, this country was founded on Christian principles.
Not Judeo-Christian?
That's not a thing.
Thank you. I'm just checking. I'm just verifying.
Judeo-Christian is not a thing. They're completely opposed. But I might get in trouble for saying that. But we can go into that if you want. Read on your own. You go look what a Judeo-Christian. Yeah, so that's that. No, that was something like, I'll put Judeo in there. Yeah, there you go. See, we're all aligned, and we're not. We're not. You have one group of people that just wanted to pursue happiness. I'm not saying that there wasn't funny business and some garbage going on.
Right.
We had a war over it. As a matter of fact, we were forced into a war over that on several tiers, several layers of that. But at the same, it doesn't matter. It was still the same basic group of people that were working hard, either farming, building businesses, doing what they wanted to do, right? According to God. You know, God's ethics, like that's where you get them. Wanting people to come over here and lift. You know, a rising tide raises all ships. That's really what being an American was all about. The Gilded Age was all about that. The Gilded Age is what Dubai is now. That's what we had here in the late 1800s into the early 1900s. That's a whole other story as to how they basically broke that apart. Very concerted efforts. But this just isn't new. It just happens to be coming here. This is just, now they're doing that in the United States. They've done this worldwide. They move mass amounts of people over and they change it over, so it's a lot easier to control. What are these people going to do to the people that have been handing those envelopes worth of cash? They're going to do exactly what they tell them to do.
Yeah.
What else are they going to do? They're not armed.
You're right.
There are groups that are for sure armed, but it's not the common populace. So you'll take that Muslim populace, who are arguably just as ignorant as any average American populace as to what's going on and what's really going on, and they'll be lambs led to the slaughter just the same. They just want to lead us to the slaughter first.
Yeah.
Get us out of the way. We might tell them how to get out of it. We might even conform them to Christianity. Oh, can't have that.
No, you can't.
And then you've got, what's the biggest food company? What is the biggest, was it halal, right?
Yeah.
Food everywhere. That's actually what I pay attention. Pay attention to who makes your food. That's a whole other, I mean, that's very scary. It's very, very, very scary when you now have a giant chunk of food distribution and food production that's halal. That's dangerous.
Can be. What else do you know? I feel like you got something else with that.
You know what I mean? I don't shit where I eat.
That's fair. That is fair. But it goes back to, this isn't organic. This is a movement being played by people above us, that invisible third party that's pulling all these strings.
I'm just done with you're racist, you're this, you're that. You see it or you don't see it. And you might be afraid to say something because maybe someone's going to get mad at you. But we're running out of time. Like, we're running out of time.
The whole purpose of the First Amendment is to be offensive. It's supposed to.
Prove me wrong.
The First Amendment is supposed to allow people to say what they think, and unfortunately, that can be offensive. But that is how it needs to work. That's how our society functions. You need to discredit people with actual thoughts and ideas. You have to be able to speak what you think all the time. All the time.
And be able to speak to it instead of speak away from it or just blow it off. Like, if you're angry, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me how I'm wrong. Have a dialogue about that, but that doesn't happen because there is no dialogue to be had for several reasons. One, we're not worth having a dialogue with, and by we, I mean most regular thinking American people that don't want to, they don't want to cause waves, but that are seeing what they're seeing and watching their children have a lack of education. Their education is we're the 46th.
We're pretty bad. We have a little more than 50% of the kids being able to read and write at grade level
All
when they graduate
Americans
high school.
Want are kids that are smart, that are eating healthy, that are educated, that can lead the country into prosperity. Instead, there's not much more to take from the United States except land at this point, and what money's left over in people's pockets from their dwindling savings, let alone if they had any kind of portfolio, right? Mm-hmm. It's just they're giving Americans the squeeze and just scooping all these people to do a couple of things, as you touched upon, is being really angry with them and turn us into these racists where it's not just this paid for Muslim invasion or immigrant invasion in general. I mean, it's not just, I don't mean to just harp on the Muslim side. Obviously, through Joe Biden, was 23 million people come on in, and we didn't know who the heck was who. And then all of a sudden, people started bitching that women or, American parents' daughters were getting raped and murdered in their own dorm rooms, et cetera, across the country. We couldn't say any of that stuff. And so on top of that, you've got they open prisons. They really open prisons.
They let people out. Foreign countries let their prisoners out to let them walk on up here.
And it made it way easier for the powers that be to traffic as many humans, really, right up the 25 corridor, no less, right in our backyard. Because this was a distraction. This is distraction. Meanwhile, I want you to know we're selling children out of Ukraine, and we're doing it out of the southern border, and we're going to arrest you if you say anything about it. And you would have thought that this would have become, a little bit more heated earlier, but we all went, oh, okay, Trump's in. Whether you like him or you don't, at least we can breathe, because we were all going to be in jail. A lot of people are going to be in jail.
Yeah, it's a temporary pause. He shut down the border.
And then that was that. Mm-hmm. I don't mean to throw any haymakers towards the administration, but here we are still. And it's not by any means getting better. It just kind of keeps happening. And we can't say anything over here because that's Islamophobia. And you can't say anything over here because that's anti-Semitic. And you can't say that because you're white and you're racist. And, what kind of white? What kind of white am I? I'm Italian white. Is that still white?
I don't know. I identified it as an American. That was a no-go.
I liked that. Why can't we identify just as an American? We can look all kinds of different ways.
Because you can get fired for it.
And this man would know.
You can get fired for it. Cherry Creek School District. Ron Garcia, E. Ortiz, buddy.
Full circle.
Ron Garcia, E. Ortiz. Mm-hmm. But he could talk about Viva la Raza, No Kings, all this other shit, but he doesn't have to compartmentalize that part of his feelings, apparently, when he goes to work. But me being a proud American, I have to compartmentalize being a proud American in order to serve the kids of the Cherry Creek School District. That's what they argued at the May 12th court hearing.
Well, I want to thank you for having me on today because, in spite of what is your background story at the end of the day? All of that doesn't really matter because I think I come from a spot that's pretty centrist by way of, I was not involved in politics. I didn't want anything to do with that. I didn't have anything to say about this, but I'm watching the walls come in closer and closer and closer and closer. I was also pushed towards God, which is a lot of people are in that camp as well. I represent basic people, average human beings that are paying attention to this and paying attention to the entire crazy. This was never this crazy.
I know.
This wasn't, between Iran, and then we've got this, we've got our problems over here, and we still haven't faced one domestic issue.
No.
Not one.
Nope.
We're all left here going like, hey, buddy, okay, some of us reluctantly, some of us very happily gave this to you in your administration. Now we're watching people getting picked off that are anti-Semitic, or they're talking about demons, or they're talking about, bottom line, something that they're not supposed to. What are we supposed to do about that? At what point do you think we're going to do something? And what was the silent majority? Are we the silent majority, and do we stay silent? Or are we just going to right to our grave? Like, well, I just don't want to offend anybody. And
No, that brings me back to, I said this months ago, that the GOP had a chance to run away with this and to transform this country for the best, and they didn't. They chose to align themselves with special and foreign interests over the American people. And once again, it goes back to the calculated decision they decided to make. I'm going to push this agenda to self-enrich me and my donors and my special interest parties, and the American people, majority of my party, will stay with me, because what's the alternative? And that's what I feel we have been dealt as Americans, and what the Republican Party made a decision on.
I'm hanging on pipe dreams at this point.
There's no point.
I'm hanging on pipe dreams of the Federal Reserve, and I'm hanging on pipe dreams of, are you going to just make an emergency announcement? Are you finally going to make the announcement?
But even if there's an announcement, what is the action behind the announcement? It doesn't matter, because everything he does can be undone with the stroke of a pen by the next president. That's why legislation needs to be passed by Congress, and they're not doing shit. SAVE Act, nothing. You taking out DEI and CRT from the federal level. No, you're not. You're not doing any of these things to codify what needs to be codified to change the direction of this ship. That is what's frustrating the most out of me, because we know what's coming on the boomerang.
Well, they want a hot war.
I know they do. So when Trump's out, he's not running again. I don't know if Vance or Rubio or whatnot. I don't know. Don't care. I'm not excited about either of them, to be honest, at this point. But when Trump's out and the Dems come back, open borders again? Because you can't say, no, we can't close it. No, it's unconscious, can't do it. We got to open it up, right? Because that was the whole Biden thing. Oh, Trump never did this, and this, so I can't really do anything about the border, so it needs to just revert back to being open all the time. Is that going to be the same shit again? Because there's been nothing done federally to stop them from doing anything when they come back, where they actually have to change law or revoke law to get their shit through. We're not making anything hard on them, which is very frustrating to me, because this administration was given the keys to the kingdom. They were given the mandate from the people. Get this ship turned around, and we're still not turned around.
Weren't there some arrests that were supposed to happen?
Sure. Sure. Love to see them. And I'm not talking about the Somalis with crooked teeth. I'm talking about the ones at the tip of the spear. Give me Obama. Give me Fauci. Give me Rice. Give me Hillary. Give me anyone connected to Epstein.
I mean, Comey, right? Isn't Comey somewhere?
There's a charge pen and whatnot. Give me what happened in Butler.
Clapper.
Give me what happened to Charlie Kirk. Don't tell me this furry took that shot and executed one of the most famous, influential men in America.
Was he the one that owned that explosives company?
No, he's the one that was on the roof.
Oh.
He's the one that supposedly pulled the trigger, not the explosive company that burned down a month after.
Right a month later.
Not that one.
After that $400,000+.
Right.
I believe there was a purchase made.
There was a lovely amount, kind of what we're wearing now. But, like, give us stuff. And the problem is, independent media has done such a good job of talking about the things that mainstream media won't, that's where people have been informed, is through third parties. How much shit do you get off the TV? Nothing.
Not a thing.
Right. You get it all from third parties that are more credible than what's put on the TV every day, every night throughout America, supposedly.
I mean, shit, everybody's become a telegram warrior and trying to figure out if they're saying that, this is over here, this one's reporting this, which is weird over here. Okay, I did my math problem for for the morning. Now I know actually approximately what's happening.
Approximately, which then allows you to kind of have an idea to make a decision and an assessment of the situation, and then to act accordingly based on that assessment. My assessment is we're in a tough fucking spot, and we need people above us to actually help us. To be honest with you, we can't change everything.
Outreach.
We can't do it all on our own. We can't. We need those forces, the ones that operate with the levels of power that could make a phone call to get arrests made to make sure justice is carried out. We need those people to do it, and they're not.
Patrick, we found the synthetic, how the election results were synthetically produced. We found them.
Yeah.
We found what Tina found.
Yes.
We found all of that. We handed that to people that needed to hand it to somebody.
I've heard
and
about
they
this.
handed it. And then we're sitting here, and what we got out of that was, okay, so now you know that we know, and now we know that you know that we know. And you know.
Uh-huh.
And now, yeah, exactly. And what do you treat it
You're
like?
scoped.
100%, to a point where there's no point hiding. It's okay, well,
Yeah.
oh, neato. Okay, so you know that I know that you know, and nothing's being done. It's completely fake. So we lose all faith, anyone intelligent enough to go beyond just seeing what's laid in the grass without walking anybody through the weeds of any of it. And we're just, is anybody going to reach out to anybody doing any of this work? You got the Ed Solomons of the world, you got the Mark Cooks of the world, you've got all of the, and a ton more, obviously. You've got all these great American people trying to figure out a way to preserve, and I'm looking at it now, it makes you feel like an asshole. It's a Tom Petty song. No less, it's great.
Okay.
Great Tom Petty song about making me, you'll do anything to make me feel like an asshole. That's what it feels like. So you're sitting here looking smart, intelligent American people in the face going like, yeah, I know you found that.
And nothing.
Nothing. Just blink, blink, blink. All right,
I know you know.
Glad we helped you all out.
I know you know, and now I know I need to watch you also.
And
'Cause I need to make sure.
And now we know what time you're over there. Okay, now we got to figure out they're over there and you're over there, and to have to deal with constant operations as an everyday human being, and then let alone get good at it. Right? I like to, some of us like to think so, and it almost doesn't make a difference.
No.
No,
it doesn't. Man, we got a whole B block. I'm going to play one clip out of B block for us. We're just going to do one clip, Damon, out of B. So there was this mock interview done at Harvard, and it's going to show just how bad the indoctrination of our children are, and the fact that they don't have principles. Our young people don't have principles. They just have talking points, and it goes all the way back to nothing is real. Nothing you see every day is real. The feelings of love that you have for your family and friends, that's real. How much you're paying at the pump is not real, but it is real because it's hitting your pocketbook. But the reality of the simulation we are living in, right, with our political forces at B, nothing is real. And it's because of what they're doing to the kids at the younger level. And then those kids become supposedly educated adults. Well, take a look at Harvard and just watch this clip, and then we're going to talk about it. B6, please, Damon.
America has always been a fascist country. We're fighting fascistic tendencies in the United States.
It feels almost like a dictatorship.
Since you hate America, here's a one-way ticket out.
Not coming back.
We're here at Harvard asking students how they feel about America and if they would revoke their citizenship and take a one-way ticket to leave and never return.
So let's start with, what do you think of your country?
It's been getting really crazy.
America has always been a fascist country.
It feels almost like a dictatorship in some ways.
And also with the ICE thing, goddamn. There's so much more going on with America.
Our civil rights were revoked.
I don't know if we'll survive Trump's presidency, man.
You think America is a fascist country?
A lot of people would say that.
Why do you think it's fascist?
A lot of people feel like they cannot exercise their freedom of speech or freedom of religious practice or expression. If you critique the government, if you speak out, there's a chance the president will tweet about you and attempt to harass you.
You still have these checks and balances and systems, yet people still think it's not a democracy. Why is that?
With our current president, those checks and balances have been violated in some ways. Like, it makes me feel uneasy.
What is the number one thing that you guys would change in your country immediately without even thinking twice about it?
Immigration laws.
You guys want to expand on that?
I just think it's really inhumane what is going on right now in this world.
This is stolen land already, and if you're going to make arguments about people that are and aren't allowed to be here, I don't think it holds any value. And
You think it's a stolen land?
I think that
the first thing I would do is remove ourselves from foreign conflicts. Even if one dictator's bad, we're hearing one side of the story.
I think the United States has broken international law, undermining the sovereignty of places like Iran and Venezuela.
Do you think the situation is that bad that people would be interested in revoking their citizenship and moving?
Yeah.
Is it safe to say you hate America and aren't proud to be a citizen?
Yeah. Yes, of course.
I mean, yeah.
Is there any country you would rather live?
Copenhagen and
Copenhagen!
I would go to Ireland.
New Zealand.
If we gave you one-way ticket, would you take to leave America and to move to New Zealand? To Ireland, Belfast, I think? Completely move out of the country? Not coming back.
I did just get into Harvard.
that's a really hard question.
No, I think by the end of the day, we're still stuck in this together.
I have obligations.
All right,
I got
awesome.
family here. I got school here.
All right, fine. We'll take that as a no.
Practically, I think it would probably be a poor idea.
Like, there is still like a lot of good opportunities in America.
Born and raised in America, my whole family's here, my whole life is here. This has been home, this is opportunity. I'll never be able to take that away from, the place that I was born in.
When given a real chance to leave, no one takes it. It's easy to criticize a system you benefit from, but when that system is taken away, the reality becomes a little more complicated.
Do they have any parking lots over there in Harvard?
What do you think, buddy?
Was the parking lots all stolen land? You love that? I love that.
Stolen land. I still can't. Everyone was taking.
Shake your tiny fist at the moon until you got to do anything about it.
But then she was asked to follow up about it, and she couldn't articulate anything.
No.
Of course not. Talking points. But that's the lie. And right, how many meetings have you ever been in meetings? I've been in meetings where we're going to start this meeting and acknowledge of the stolen land that we are on and the suffering of the ancestors before us. Have you ever been in a meeting like that?
But couldn't name any one of the tribes or any of the ancestors or any of the historical basis of their point.
No, and I'm gonna be really rude here because I'm tired of this shit. I am tired of it. It's not stolen when we came to you, saw you face to face, and we kicked your ass. It's not stolen. You got beat up and taken. Sorry. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired. It's not stolen. There was wars. You guys lost.
And the history is a bit fuzzy if you want to get into that, but we won't, because we can just stay with, I am also tired of, I'm happy that those young people were able to go to school, at a wonderful school. I have history with that school. It's lovely. Not that I was one of those kids. I wasn't smart enough.
Okay.
I grew up in Dot. I didn't grow up there. But the amount of privilege is shocking. And those are the same people that would say we are privileged.
They acknowledge that they have opportunities
Those are the ones
here.
that write the books and then sell them to the schools to teach the next group of students why everyone else but them are privileged, but them.
Yes.
Like, look, I should be here. You don't understand. I'm going to completely defeat my lack of a point. And obviously it's because there's a Middle East, there's a brown guy asking the question.
Yes.
They're like, oh, cool, finally, I'll side with you. I feel much better about myself, except, go where?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry,
I can't. I have opportunities.
It's so gross, especially coming from Harvard. It's so gross, those students, because you walk right by them. That's all it's there. They're right in Harvard Square right there. And that's the fact, God, the ignorance is abound. But there you have a complete part of society of the upper crust, and those kiddos are going to be the ones teaching. They're going to be making rules. They're going to be writing the books.
Yeah.
They're going to be, ushered up as long as that they're. I mean, right now they're probably savable, right? They still have an iota of their own thought.
They understand that there's opportunity in America still.
They sure do.
So therefore, we're not bad if there's still opportunity. So you can be saved. Can be saved.
But we do feel bad for all these immigrants that are getting kicked out and all these families being arrested. Like, cite one of these things, like cite anything, but they don't have a point. So what is it that the schools teach?
They teach that you're on stolen land. Like, no joke, schools start meetings this way. School boards start meetings this way.
And the second you do that, what do you get?
Mm-hmm.
How enlightened. So enlightened.
But once again, not stolen, conquered.
Conquered.
Can we agree on that? Conquered?
Conquered.
Can we agree that that was the way the world worked back then? Would we agree that everyone basically was trying to take from everyone else at that time?
I'll even argue that the American settlers before, there was a lot going on. To sit there and go like, they were racist for like 300 years.
But wait,
there's a lot going on.
It wasn't stolen. We actually bought Manhattan. We purchased Manhattan from them.
Louisiana Purchase.
We bought that also from the French. No one complained about the French controlling that.
But lower side of Manhattan is still, I believe that's still owned by London.
Okay.
Where they keep all the banks, where all the gold is. I believe that's still sovereign to London. They didn't want to give that.
Not yet. Okay.
I believe where Disney World sits is also sovereign to London. That's why they don't have to pay taxes. There's a couple of places. I know that sounds a little tinfoil hat for you, but you can look it up.
Like this stuff, it irks me to no end that you have these kids going to a $70,000 a year school.
More.
Oh, it's more now? 120,000?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, I'm out of touch. Paying $120K, and you...
Basket weaving might be 70.
And you parrot these talking points of the oppression, and then at the same time, why are so many people coming here if we're oppressive? Like, no one can answer those things. Why do people that are black and brown and of different races come to America? Like, I want to experience real oppression. Like, I live in Africa, I live in the Middle East, but you know what? I want to have some real oppression. I'm going to go to America.
I'm going to go to the...
Do you think they do that? Like, literally, that's what has to be being said, no?
Let's flood the streets of the most oppressive country
I need to be oppressed. Give me that red, white, and blue, baby.
And thank you for that $3,000 envelope.
And the EBT, and the hotel.
And the cell phone.
And the clothing, and the transport, and the plane, and the buses, right? All the
And the hotel room.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and room service.
But we're oppressive and we're racist and we're the most horrible nation. No, we're the most gracious nation, the most forgiving nation.
Absolutely.
And
just good people.
Yes, and they
Good
make us look like animals and turn us into animals when we're really not. We're just tired of being disrespected and taken advantage of the shit we had nothing to do with.
I just think it would be really funny to put them in different, groups. Go into a black community, go to a southern black community, a southern white community, go all over the place and just see how their answers change. Because that's the type of people that they are training. And it's so sad because those kids are smart.
Yeah.
Those kiddos are smart. If they were given an opportunity to not be so New Yorker WASP, because being liberal like that is trendy. There's no thought to it. It's so easy to sit there and go like, yeah, founded by racists. And then the people that run this thing are, well, they're not racist, but the people that are ruled in this country are racist. Like, no, who's racist? Who? And how long does that argument last?
They are.
100% the only people bringing up race are the people calling everybody racist.
And they're the racist ones.
Again, who's a racist? People that base everything on race.
And the other part about the stolen land, like all this the stolen land, the oppressive nation, everyone dismisses the fact that it was the Spanish that started the slave trade in this hemisphere.
Oh God, we can get right into that. But
people forget to talk about it. It completely gets disregarded that it was the actual Spanish, you hear me? Brown people started the enslavement in the Western Hemisphere.
Well, it was actually the Vatican that allowed that. As a matter of fact, the Vatican was the one, I can't remember the Pope. My retention rate is terrible.
To enslave Africans instead of the native populace.
They were allowed to have whatever they wanted that they found.
Spanish priest Bartholomew de las Casas. You ever heard that name?
No.
Spanish priest Bartholomew de las Casas. This is coming from my social studies teaching days.
Oh.
I just found it in my head as I'm sitting here talking to you. I think it was in the 1500s. He wrote an edict that basically told the Spanish people, we can no longer enslave the natives, but we need to find somebody that can work in this climate that is used to being in hot, humid conditions for farming. So a Spanish priest by the name of Bartholomew de las Casas summoned to the continent of Africa and called to enslave the continent of Africa to use as the slave labor into the New World.
So
that's never discussed. Slavery started in the Western Hemisphere because of the Spanish and the Portuguese.
History is not talked about.
Real history is never taught.
Ever.
That's the problem.
And
real
when it was
taught.
kind of...
Because it's inconvenient. It's inconvenient to talk the truth.
And watered down and a lot of points discounted.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of stuff that happened.
But it started with the Spanish bringing the slaves over here to North and South America, the Western Hemisphere, and then it was America. It was America, after we gained our independence from the English, that actually started to dismantle the system of slavery.
As a matter of fact, that conversation, once the Revolutionary War stopped, that conversation didn't all the way up to the Civil War. That was the biggest conversation that there was.
And immediately, once we were free from England, victory in the Revolution, 7 states outlawed slavery, mainly in the North, immediately. So it's not in the DNA of America. It's not it's part of our history.
Of a Christian peoples.
It's part of our history. We need to discuss it, right? But be truthful about it. Talk about the Irish that were brought over as slaves. Talk about the Italian. Talk about it all. Don't just sugarcoat it, and talk about the funders of the slave trade as well.
The first English settlers were indentured servants.
Yes, they were. And then let's not forget, France let out prisoners to come over to start a new world, but the condition was you had to marry a prostitute and bring a prostitute over to the new world.
That's right.
The French did that. The French did that. They emptied their jails and said, hey, you want a new start? Get this shit, get out of our country, but you got to take one of the whores with you.
Bring your whores.
Marry this one, bring it over. And they did it. So you're telling me America, like we can make America work with anyone that wants to come here and do shit the right way. That's it.
And it doesn't have to be clean. It doesn't have to be neat. Just don't with anybody else's shit. Just leave everybody to do their thing.
Right.
And if you can't help out, then leave everybody alone.
And don't force me to live your way of life that you're trying to inject into my. No, this country was founded specifically. Either adopt to what our foundings are or don't come.
The irony going back to this Harvard group, all those kids, too, I mean, this is the only country that they survive in.
Oh, 100%. Are you for real?
That's the irony of it. It's the only place that this is the only place.
Let's go airdrop into Nigeria, see what happens. You for real?
Where they literally survive, let alone thrive on a very, very expensive education where they were forced to work for the man.
That's crazy, dude.
It's unreal.
But goes back to the theme of today. Nothing is real.
Nothing is real.
But I'm glad we had a good show today. I thought we had a great show. I thought it was fun, entertaining.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, anytime. Would you mind praying us out? I like giving our guests the options of praying us out.
You know what? Where are we here? Right about...
You mean time? What are you talking about?
I'm not very good. We have very good friends with Father Andre, but he's much better than I am.
Oh, I know, and Joe's way better than I when we're praying, but I'm asking you. And if you don't want to, it's fine. I can do it.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, it is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Lord, thank you for having our show this afternoon. We ask for your strength, and we ask you to distribute that amongst your people, believers and non-believers. We ask for the blessing from the Sacred Heart of our Mother, and we ask for the blessing from the Sacred Heart of Jesus Christ, that we have the fortitude, the mental acuity, the levity, the love above all, to make it through another day, to find each other, raise each other, and come closer to you, and be more like you. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. That was a shoot from the hip one. I'll do better if I could have prepared.
Appreciate it. Thank you. And those prayers are the best types, off the cuff, because you're speaking from the heart. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. Joe should be back tomorrow. We have a dynamite guest on tap tomorrow. We'll see you then. Class dismissed.
Rise up untamed, in the heart of the fight where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Break the mold, chase the real. No more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Tame nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah.